Good evening and welcome back to Frugal Outdoors with myself, Dylan. And as you can tell, obviously we're out fishing this evening. Now, I'm in no hurry this evening to get a bait out because it is low tide. And it's a relatively big-ish tide. We haven't got much of a moon, so there's like a tiny slither of it in the sky. But it does mean we've got a big tide. It's been brutally cold in the evening, so the water temperature is very low. So what I've done is I've come to one of my favourite deep water venues, a venue that I'm sure you've all seen me fish many times. But it's the first time that I've actually fished it off the wall this year. So I'm quite excited about that and I'm really looking forward to it. But as you'll see, the tide is really far out. I haven't actually seen it this far out. Seems to be a bit of repetition. I fished on a Saturday in the comp and I won. So I was really chuffed about that. But this is Tuesday, it's only 3 nights later and we've still got these massively low tides. It's a really low tide. And the high tide is not really quite there, so it's a bit of an odd one. But anyway, we're going to give it a go tonight. I've got plenty of bait. But like I say, I am going to take my time. Probably not going to cast out for at least half an hour. It's given me some time to get my rod set up already. I'll get my tip lights on. We'll have a look at some rigs, and then we'll get a bait out. But it's glorious. There's no one else fishing here. It's super still. We've got 4-mile-an-hour winds. Crystal clear. The moon is right there. It's probably a quarter of a moon, but it's still huge tide. But anyway, enough yakking, let's get fishing. It's funny, isn't it? I've got a bench right here and I'm still sat on my box. Anyway. So no, we've had some super foggy mornings. And I've got a feeling this evening is going to get quite foggy as well. It's been really warm in the daytime, like pushing 12 degrees today. And then it's going bitterly cold at night time. That's just obviously creating a massive fog. So yeah, I'm fishing Fort Victoria, which rumour has it is haunted, so there's no one else here. All I can hear is the echo of my voice coming back off the buildings. I couldn't end up giving myself the willies a little bit later when I get a little bit scared. But hey ho, let's carry on anyway and we'll pretend that I didn't say any of that. So the rigs I'm going to use this evening, I'm going to use 3 rigs. Pulley panels, 2 of, one with a 4.0 and one with a 3.0. All of these rigs are available from www.frugal.od.co.uk and also from SlamfishIOW Isle of Wight. And I'm going to use the scratching rig, the same scratching rigs, the exact same hooks, same everything, the exact same scratching rigs that I used the other night, because they were new the other night, that I used in the comp, and they seem to get me into some fish. So I'm going to scratch around for a little bit on one rod, alternating through, just using those 3 rigs through the rods, to hopefully get some fresh bait. What I'd really like to get into tonight is a conger eel, a reasonably decent conger eel. I'm not going to set a target, but I have brought scales just in case, which I know is a little bit ambitious, and I've probably jinxed it, but anyway. So I've got 4.0s and 3.0 pulley panels, put out some reasonably decent baits, try and get some fresh bait, use that as well, hopefully get into a conger eel and anything else that might be out there. So bait-wise, I've got some worm, which was kindly, thank you very much, Neil, kindly donated to me by Neil, which he had left over the other night. It's been in my shed for a couple of nights, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be just fine. I haven't even had a look at it, but I'm sure it's fine. I've got some anchovies. Absolutely love fishing with anchovies. They're really nice bait. They're a very smelly, oily bait. So I've got some anchovies. All of this is from Slamfish. I've got the leftover packet of sardines. There's 2 sardines in there. I only used 1 the other night. So I thought, well, it's silly. Let's just bring out those 2 sardines. I say, I am being very ambitious in the hope that I might get some bait. And my leftover squid. So some of this stuff that I've got is either donated, it's already half been used, but basically I've got 1 brand new packet of anchovies. So anyway, let's get baited up and let's get a bait out there. So I'm going to be fishing with 7-ounce grippers, lead lifts. This is a very deep water venue. It's very snaggy. It can be very snaggy. It can also, you can come out and not get snagged up at all. It's just one of those hit and miss venues. Sometimes you can have an absolute nightmare. Sometimes it can be a dream. There is going to be a lot of water running through here later. Like I say, we're bang on low tide. So it is going to push probably quite hard at the beginning. So I will be fishing with 7s all the way through. Hopefully it will be fishable. I've got 58-pound braid on there. I've got 60-pound leader. This is one of the venues I do think it's essential to fish quite heavy. But the same as anywhere, if you're going to fish with a heavier line, I think it's still worthwhile using a leader. If I'm going to snap off, I'm going to leave a leader out there. If I'm using 25-pound line, I'm still going to leave my leader out there, but I'll potentially leave a lot of line out there as well. If I fish that straight through, it could be my braid that will snap, and therefore I'm going to leave a whole lot of braid out there. So my aim is to leave as little fishing gear in the sea as I possibly can. But anyway, let's bait up. Look at those. So they're from Saturday. They've been in my shed and they are still wriggling like mad. It's actually quite exciting. Right, let's get a couple on some hooks. I am going to use my worm needle. I do find it a little bit easier. But what I'm doing is I've just pinched the tail off, and then I put the baiting needle through reverse so that when I do put that hook on there, that the fatter part of the worm is on the hook rather than it being the skinny part of the tail. See, Wayne, I do listen. Single ragworm, and then I'm just going to tip that off with some squid. We'll put another worm on the other hook, and then will I put it out? We'll have a look. I think I'll probably put it out. Why not? Let's stick it out and let's have a look. So we'll just cut a piece, basically as you would if you're normally opening up a... Oh, I just had that horrible feeling. I just looked up at the camera and it looked like there was something behind me. Open up the tube, squid, cut a strip. But I'm going to cut that strip into half. And pop it on there. So we've got size 1.0 canoes, which would be perfect for picking up a pouting, maybe a whiting. I haven't had many whiting. I think I've probably only caught maybe, I caught a few out on the sib actually, but maybe off ashore, I don't know, half a dozen whiting maybe this year. And there we are. I'm going to bait the next one up exactly the same as that, and we're going to flick it out and see if there's anything about. So there we go, 2 baited little 1.0 canoes with some ragworm. Let's get this one out. I've made a bit of a boo-boo. I've forgotten my finger store. So I've raided my first aid kit and put some surgical tape on my finger, which will hopefully do the job. So I'm just going to whack this one straight in front of me and see what happens. It should not move at all because there's no tide whatsoever at the second, but let's get it out. Actually, I might have made a huge error of judgment tonight. Even if the tide is really hard at the beginning, it should ease off and it'll be quite fishable. But we've got one in there. Now we've got to just get the next one out and hopefully see if we can get a couple of fish. There we are, that's the second one that I've baited up. I did it off camera because you never know, I might have a fish on the first cast. So I left the camera facing the rods. But there's a whole anchovy there with a strip of squid bound up the side of it with a 3.0 circle as the pennel and then just a 3.0 Aberdeen wide mouth hook on the bottom. BMX extra, Manta extra actually, sorry, a Manta extra. Got to get it right. And what you'll notice is I do tend to keep, when I'm fishing here, I do seem to find it a little bit less snaggy if you keep the shorter snoods. That's not just me, that's other people telling me basically that I'm fishing too long a snooze when I'm fishing here. So we've got quite shorter snoods in the hope that we get snagged up a little bit less. But anyway, let's get this one out. I'm going to walk up, cast this one up tide a little bit because that tide has just started to run. Oh, there we go. I've literally only just cast that out. That's the second rod. That's the bigger bait. So it's what I thought I was going to be able to keep it a little bit left. So I'll give it a whack, and it's gone over the top of the other one. Hopefully, it's gone over the top of the other one because I've got braid, and there's nothing worse than get your lines caught up if you've got braid. They're both hooping quite a bit. There is quite a bit of tide out there. But anyway, I'm going to get my third rig sorted out. But yeah, that definitely looked like I was getting a little bit of interest on that right-hand rod then. But anyway, let's bait the third rig, and then we're properly fishing and we're ready to rock and roll. And there we go. I've just kept that third rig super simple. It's just half a sardine. I've cut it at a slight angle just so I can get two better size baits. So obviously if you cut it directly in half, you're shortening down that bait, but cutting it at like a 45 degree, you're elongating both parts of that bait. So we've got a nice big piece of sardine. That's on a 4.0 pulley panel. Some of my best fish have been from this spot. Had a nice double figure thornback from here. That was using just straight squid. So I'm kind of hoping there might be something like that around tonight. That or a big conger. But the fact that no one else is fishing is not the best sign, is it? Didn't really have a lot of options this evening of venues. Like say, we're fishing right at the bottom of the tide. It's 7 o'clock now, just gone 7. So we are fishing the bottom of the tide. Which means anywhere else, you know, you're into sort of shallow water. And I don't know, with these temperatures, these evening temperatures and the sea temperature, I just felt like I had a better chance of coming with deeper water, really. It's definitely still something having a go there. There we go, look. I've still got to try and get it in though, even if it is a bite. It's starting to fog up already. It's going to be quite eerie out here, I think, tonight. There's definitely something having a go on that anchovy. Very small tentative bites, just slow pulls. It could be just a dogfish, could be a small conger eel. But I am going to have a look in a minute. It's only been in the water maybe 10 minutes. But it looked like it had a bite, like literally straight away. I'm finding myself whispering when I'm out here, even though there's no one else around. I think it's because it's so quiet. Yeah, and then like same as usual, basically I'm going to fish with that scratching rig for the first half of the session, so maybe 2.5 hours, and then I'll just scrap it off. If I haven't had a pouting, I'll scrap it off and then just fish with the bigger baits. That is literally just to see if we can't get some bait tonight. Yeah, that's gone quite a few times. I'm going to have a look at that, I think. I think we might have a dogfish on here. Let's have a look. Have to get into a nice high spot and wind like mad. Well, we've got weight, that's for sure. Cool. Oh, we got something, isn't that? Oh, there we go. That's not a bad sized dogfish right there. But anyway, blanks out of the way on the first cast. Right, let's get a fresh bait. I'm so out of breath reeling up. Let's get that fresh bait out there. Rebait this. And then see if we can't get anything else. There we are. So, whole anchovy and a strip of squid strikes again. Dogfish do love anchovies, but then so do a lot of things. So, had to climb down the wall to chuck the fish back in because the sea's too far away. Right, let's get this out. Ooh, exciting. So, you have to excuse me being out of breath, but I'm just reeling so hard at the moment just while this water level is so low, because I am worried about snagging up. But so far, 2 casts and 2 fish, because we got the pouting we were after. Perfect bait size pouting as well. So we'll be able to cut that in half and we'll have 2 lovely fresh baits. Let's get this one unhooked, dispatch it humanely, get another bait out on the other rod and carry on fishing. So far so good. Wicked. Oh, yeah, that tide is pretty fierce out there. It's sort of going up tide. I'm casting at probably, I don't know, sort of 11:30. I'm moving up that way like 20 yards, then casting out relatively straight as I can, and then obviously the lead's then, the tide's taking the lead, boom, 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 bouncing, and we're probably fishing at, I don't know, half 12. So we're casting over there and we're fishing over there. But I'm trying not to hit it too hard because I don't want it massively in the tide if I can help it. But then we just had a couple of fish, so maybe that's where they are. But yeah, I'm a big fan of reusing my rigs. Certainly if the hooks get dull, then it's definitely worth changing them. But just check them when you get them out your packet, or if your rig winder or whatever, check them. If it hurts, then they're good enough, in my humble opinion. But yeah, if they're not, then just strip them down, snip everything off, take the swivels off, take any clips, anything off that's reusable, beads, anything like that, and then just chuck them on a new rig. Oh. What happened there? Felt like that right-hand rod just went quite slack then. Seemed like it slackened off. I think there's something having a go at that. I mean, it could be a little bit of weed. A tiny little bit of weed was on my line a minute ago as well. That moon is amazing. It's a proper stereotypical sort of crescent moon. Ooh, there is a fish on. I think there's a fish on there. That was a definite bite. Could have been a new bite that's just come along, but it definitely moved. Oh, I've got to G myself up, ready for another wind in. Prepare myself, limber up. There we go. I think it's time. Let's have a look. I just saw it move again, so let's have a look. Oh, I'm not feeling a lot of weight. I think we're snagged up. There we go. I got you. Oh, it's a line snag. It's a line snag for sure. Ah, we got it. Oh my God. Some bloody weight. Oh, thought there was. Whew, there we are. So that is a prime example why I have £58 braid on there and a £60 leader, because this dogfish, poor thing, but I've just dragged it through all the snags and stuff. I'm surprised actually there's no line hanging off it, but I could definitely feel the line snags on it. But we've got the fish out, otherwise my rig could have snapped off, my line could have snapped off anything, and that fish would be hooked and stuck out there basically to die really. But as it is, this one gets to swim away again. 3 casts, 3 fish. It's getting really spooky, spookily foggy. But anyway, let's get another bait out there, and hopefully we can get something else. I'm going to stick the scratching rig out again. Never know, might get a little bit more bait. And if I do get another pouting, then I will stop fishing with it, and we'll fish with some fresh pouting. But this is the 4.0 panel, so I'm going to put some of that fresh pouting on that one straight away. I think it's definitely time I service my reels as well. Do a full service on them, I think. It's actually quite fun. It's just finding the time to do it, but it is quite fun stripping them back completely. Give them all a good clean inside, get all the old grease off. So I did it last year, but I just can't remember when. But it's probably been 6 months, so at least I would say. So we'll give them a go, we'll give them a clean. That bait will probably catch another fish, I reckon. But let's get some pouting on. So I'm just going to quickly prep this pouting. It's been dispatched. So I'm gonna cut the tail off, and I'm gonna cut the fins off with my scissors. I have got a knife there. I was thinking about taking some fillets off it, but to be honest, I don't think I am. I am going to take that bottom jaw off. Just like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut basically across there in a diagonal like that. And then as you can see, if I hold the knife there, you can see that gives us 1 bait there and 2 baits there. 2 reasonably nice sized baits. Whoa, slippery little sucker. So there we go, just like that. Obviously helps with a sharp knife like this. And then just to get through that backbone, we'll use the scissors. Like I say, these are only small scissors, but they work a treat. And there we are, 2 baits. We'll take that fin off there. Basically what I don't want is anything that can get caught in the tide for resistance. And then we're going to bind, we'll keep that one because that's the better one. We'll bind that up, we'll stick our hooks in there, and then that's our bait. But yeah, look at the scales on it. So we'll take our tool, like so. I do like the 2-prong ones. Let's say this baiting tool was given to me when I first started fishing by a very kind gentleman who donated me a few bits and bobs, and I've had it ever since. And when I think I've lost it, I start to panic because I really like it. Get some binding on there. I am just going to take that bit off just to make it a little bit neater. And we'll stick our 4.0 hook down the side, nice and proud. Hold that in place while we bind it. Plenty of elastic. And then because I leave quite a decent sized tag on my knot, we put a load of whipping around that. And then basically we bring the line all the way down to the end. And just having a tool just means you can hold on to it and get all the whipping and bind your line right to the end of your bait. And there we are. stick that 4.8 down in there. Pull that tight because we've got the bit of rig tube in there. And then that is a really nice bait with two really proud hooks. It's got conger written all over it. That was cool. So I just had another little bite on the left-hand rod there. That's just the just a little scratching rig. But you can see that the rods aren't hooping over quite so much now, so we're getting a bit of water in here. But it's fully on the push now, fully on the flood. But it's much easier to fish. I do keep coming back to it. I've had some blinding sessions, but I've also had some absolute clangers as well. So, but yeah, I just keep getting drawn back to it. I do like it a lot. But yeah, I've probably fished this venue, I don't know, maybe 30 times, maybe even more, 30, 40 times even. Keep coming back for more. So I'm by no means an expert at fishing this venue, but I do feel like I'm getting to know it a little bit better. Oh, I think we might have a dogfish on it actually. Oh, I think something just came off, I think. It's gone very light. Did it come off? No. Oh, there we go. Oh, he's curled up in a ball. Curled up in a ball. Look at that. There we go. Right. There we go, buddy. Well, it's not what we were after on the scratching rig, but we'll definitely take it, because at the moment we're still on a fish cast. That's dogfish number 3. We'll call that a donut fish on the Isle of Wight. But let's get this one back in. Let's give that lens a clean because it's all starting to fog up, and we'll get another bait in the water. And there we go, that's the pouting. Let's chuck that out. Like I say, so far we've had 4 casts and we've had 4 fish. So I am chuffed with that. Really busy session so far. Doesn't mean it's going to stay like that, but while it is like that, we'll take it and enjoy it. Right, I'm going to keep going with this scratching rig because I really would like to try and get another, at least one more pout really. Just one more pouting, just so I've got a nice, that gives me 4 fresh baits. Which I think should be enough then really. But that tide has eased right off. But like I said before, that tide is still on the full flood. But yeah, it's eased off, the pool is eased off. Now we've got more water in here. It starts doing the swirly, turbulent thing, but basically there's just a little bit less movement. That first initial part of the flood is always quite hard. And the turn of the tide can be really quite difficult as well when it first starts to ebb, but generally in the middle of the tide, after an hour, maybe 2 hours sometimes, it's pretty easy fishing. That's weird. Why would he do that? That's very strange. So there's a boat just came past. I think this right hand rod has gone a little bit slack. Boats just came past, stopped there, obviously took a bit of a drift because of the tide. All lights on, everything. Carried on driving a little bit and then turned all his nav lights off. There's not a single light on that vessel at all. I can hear him still, chugging away, but not a single light on it. You'd think that would be dangerous. Either that or he doesn't want to be seen. So yeah, we're at one of those sort of funny stages of the tide at the moment. where the rods are slackening off. Every time I tighten down, they slacken off again. That's just because there's an awful lot of movement out there at the moment, probably just getting a bit of a swell. So I'm not going to wind anymore, because what I don't want to do is slowly pull those leads further in, because all it means is I'm getting closer and closer and closer to that ledge. I've got another scratch and rig baited up there again. That one on the right hand side really is due a change. It's probably been out there for 25 minutes, but it is an anchovy bait, so you know, it's got a lot of scent out there. It takes a lot to wash a whole anchovy out, but I am going to leave it out there a little bit longer. And then, of course, on the left-hand side, we've got our pouting. There we go. That was the one that I literally just said I was going to leave out there a little bit longer, because it's a whole anchovy. I've just had a bite on it. Just tighten down a little bit on it. Yeah, I think that is on, you know. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh. God, everything's soaking wet, you know, with this fog. But we got something on. I think it is just a dogfish, but oh, there we go. Nearly got it in that snag, but we got through. There we go. There we go. Perfectly hooked on that circle hook there, and a much better stamp of fish than I was catching the other night in the comp, albeit I still did manage to win the comp. But the dogfish, some of the dogfish I had were really small. But there we go. That's, what's that, fish number 5? 5 casts, 5 fish. Doesn't always happen like that. There we are. So that is the other half of that sardine that I cut in a diagonal. So we've got a nice sized bait with that one as well. This time, let's say on the 3.0, because what I really want to do is use those poutings on the slightly larger hooks. They're only a 4.0, they're not a massive hook, but certainly big enough, I would think, to hook into a reasonably decent conger. I mean, my best conger came from here, and I think I had that on 2.0s. So definitely a chance of bringing in one with a 4.0, I would have thought. But likewise, you know, we caught dogfish on it as well earlier, so it does just mean that we definitely got a chance of bringing in any sort of fish, really, apart from maybe a small pouting. But that's why we've got the scratching rig out. Right, well, I've got to keep cleaning the lens. The fog is absolutely playing havoc. But I'm gonna have a look at this one on the left. It went a few times. It's the pouting one. It's been quiet for a little while, so I'm going to bring it in, have a little look, have a change up, put some fresh bait out there, and see if we can't get a fish. The one on the right went out relatively recently. But yeah, let's have a look at that one anyway. Well, I thought I was getting a bite on it earlier, but it doesn't really look like it. So let's get that scratching rig out again. I think I've probably got one more cast with a scratching rig, and then that's all the worm gone. So let's get it out there and see if we can't get another pouting, and then I can rebait that one with a nice fresh pout. Got a little bit of a back eddy going on at the moment, so don't want to get these tangled up. Don't know if you can actually see it. See the moon behind me? Yeah, see, there we go. That's the moon. Can't really see the shape of it, but it looks pretty cool. Right, come on, let's try and get a fish. We did so well at the beginning. We had so many bites and so many fish. And And I've had 2 casts without a fish on. Oh, sorry, I thought I was just getting a bite then. There we go. So that's the other half of that pouting. That's the head. That's the head and the guts. And I've bound it up. I've spiked it with my scissors. So there's a lot of juice coming out of there. A lot of stuff coming out of the stomach cavity. Hopefully that will entice something. Like I said, we've got 2 fresh baits out there at the moment anyway, or fresh-ish. Got the sardine head and guts, and then a scratching rig. But gone from being extremely busy to having a bit of time on my hands at the moment. And then basically what we're gonna have to do is go back with the anchovies, I think, because the anchovies were definitely giving us some bites. So was a scratching rig, in all honesty, as well, with a ragworm tipped with squid. But at the moment, yeah, it's very, very quiet. But like I said, there's not a lot of pull out there. There's not a lot of tide pull at all. So maybe that's what it is. So the channel's been going so well recently. I just wanted to again say thank you ever so much for all of your support. It's hugely appreciated. If you've made it this far and you haven't already subscribed, then please do. It doesn't cost anything. And all that does is it just helps push these videos out, and it will help the channel grow even more. But yeah, thanks again. And also don't forget, you can also click that notification bell, and then you'll be notified of any of my videos that get uploaded. Well, I was going to rebait that scratching rig, but I don't think I'm going to. I think what I'm going to do is switch that out for another pulley rig and just fish with some bigger baits. We've given it a go to try and get another pouting. I've still got 1 pouting bait there anyway, so. And then what I can do is I can fish with some anchovies, some squid and some sardine. Come on, where's the congers at? We came out to get a big conger tonight. It really is very deep out there. Right, let's pack this one away anyway, and let's get another pulley rig out. I can't believe how easy the tide is at the moment. There's barely any movement out there, which is a little frustrating really, because I feel like it might be hampering the fishing a little bit. When we had plenty of tide at the beginning, we were getting plenty of bites. Now, where the tide's eased off, even though we're still right in the middle of the flood, struggling to find a fish. But we won't give up. We won't give up at all. But I really do think fishing here is so much better with a fixed spool. I know a lot of people prefer using multipliers, and I totally get that. Everyone's got their preference. But with a fixed spool, I can wind it in so much quicker. I think you can change the gear on multipliers, so you get a faster retrieve. But it really does make a difference at venues like here that are really, really deep. Anyway, let's get another rig sorted. Well, this right-hand rod, it's gone a couple of times, but it's so minimal. Oh, I'm going to freshen it up anyway. I've got nice fresh anchovy and squid bait there. The one on the left there, that's that pouting, so that's fine. No, nothing. Oh, we got a tangle. Said I thought I had a bite. I don't know if you can see it from there. We are completely wrapped up. There we go. Tangled all the way up my leader. So I'm going to say, potentially we had a fish on there. Oh, well, that fog, that misty fog has cleared up. I can see the stars again, and the temperature's just massively dropped. So I think all this dew, everything that's absolutely soaking wet, is going to be frozen shortly. But there we go, whole anchovy and a squid head and guts all wrapped up together. Let's see if this will entice something. I just got up because I could hear my drag going, which means the tide's obviously picked up a bit. But then I was just looking at my reels, and I just noticed that right hand rod go. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully it will go again. I'm just trying to bait up my other rig. There we go, another donut fish, but wicked, back on the fish. There we go. So that one there, that's a half a sardine. Basically it's a sardine fillet really, and that's bound up with a nice piece of squid, and we've got couple of 3Os sticking out of it. So we've had absolutely no interest whatsoever in the pouting this evening. There's 2 fresh baits that I've put out. I thought I might have had a little bit of interest in the first one, but certainly nothing hooked up. But that pouting head and gut, that's probably been out there for half an hour. Nothing at all. But everything else that's gone out there, the sardine, the anchovy and squid, the rag, that's all caught dogfish. I don't know what we're at now. We must be at maybe 7, something like that. But anyway, let's get that one baited up again and keep going. See if we can add a few more to the tally. Right, I'm gonna have a look at this one. It's gone quite a few times. I think it's a dogfish, but I've been baiting another rig, so I wanted to make sure I had a spare rig ready to go first. Oh, there's nothing there. Oh, wow. That is a surprise. That really is a surprise. God, I thought there was a fish on there for sure. Oh, I think we should probably rebind that on because it hasn't been on there for very long. God, you know, I haven't even looked at the time. I have no idea what the time is. So I suppose I should do that really, because it might be getting close to being time to do a couple of last casts. I've been really enjoying it. It's the trouble, when you're enjoying it, the time goes so quick, doesn't it? Well, it's 11 o'clock. So I've been fishing for, I don't know, about 4 hours, I suppose. Probably going to give it another little while. I've got another one ready to go there. And these haven't been out long either. Did have what I thought was a bite in the right hand rod. So I'm keeping an eye on that one. So I've had a couple of dogfishy bites that haven't turned into anything. But in all honesty, I mean, we've had quite a few fish, so I am quite pleased. Thought possibly we might find something else, but well, there's still time anyway, crikey. Not giving up yet. Still trying for that conger. Well, that was a bit of a better bite, wasn't it? Well, the trouble is, I am on braid. I always say this, I am on braid, so the bites do sometimes look a little bit better than they are, but we had a bite. Well, it's my last bait there to go out as well, so it's a now or never. So what I'm going to do while I wait for that one to develop, I'm going to recast the one on the left. What I did is I put that pouting head back out again, just on the off chance there might have been a nice big conger swimming around out there that might take it. But let's get the last bait out, and then hopefully we can get lucky on the last cast.
What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you.
There we are, last bait of the session. That's a half a sardine and a nice bit of squid head and guts up the side. God, do you know what? I don't think I've been out fishing where there's been so much damp in the air. Everything is absolutely drenched. I'm going to have a little tidy up anyway. We've got our last baits out there, so I'm going to leave them to have a little soak. Hopefully we'll get a fish. We had a bite on that rod, but it hasn't turned into anything at all. Literally just one touch by maybe a dogfish or something, and then it's decided it doesn't want it after all. So let's have a little quick tidy, and then we'll think about packing down. Well, I've packed one of the rods away, and we're just getting a bite on this last one. I'm going to leave it a little bit. I keep having to clean the screen. I'm busy doing stuff. I get a bite, I turn around, and the lens is blooming all fogged up. There we go. Look, we're getting a little bite. Looks like it could be another dogfish. But I'm going to carry on packing down anyway, clearing up my area, and keep cleaning the lens, and hopefully we'll get another fish. Right, I think I'm going to reel this in. I've had a few pulls on it, but it's time to go anyway, so let's just have a look. Let's have a look. Let's see if we've got a fish. Oh yeah. Well, it's not fighting back. It's not pulling. So I think we know what it is. There we go. So last cast of the night and last fish. One more fish. Ah, there we go, wicked. Right, I'll do this sign off as quickly as possible because it's taken about 2 minutes for the lens to fog up again. So I've really enjoyed tonight. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I know we didn't get any of those special sort of fish, but you know what? We had plenty of bites and plenty of fish. I mean, we're 8, 9 dogfish in the end or something like that. So it's nice to be busy. I was only out for 4 hours and 40 minutes we've been recording, so by the time I've probably had a bait in the water, 4 hours and 20 minutes, give or take. It's been a great evening. It's been hard work keeping the lens clean. We've had fog, we've had mist and all that sort of stuff, and now it's beautiful clear skies and the stars are out. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. Like I said earlier, if you haven't already subscribed, then please do. Don't forget, you can also get rigs and a few bits and bobs from www.frugal.od.co.uk, and you can also get them from Slamfish Isle of Wight in Newport on the Isle of Wight. So, until the next one, please take care, stay safe, and maybe I'll see you out there. Cheers.